This video, it's going to change your life. I recently came across Iman Gadzhi's Monk Mode video. If you want to watch the whole thing, there's a link in the card. But it got me thinking. Iman Gadzhi is a pretty successful guy in the SMMA space, so when I saw this video it got me thinking, what if I lived Iman Gadzhi's Monk Mode for 21 days? What would happen? This video is that story. Firstly, you might be wondering what Monk Mode actually is. Monk Mode is a set of 5 principles which are there to give you the discipline and the healthy body and mind to skyrocket your productivity. Iman Gadzhi suggests that you do Monk Mode initially for 21 days and thereafter for 30, maybe 60 days. But you're not supposed to be living your whole life like this. The idea of Monk Mode is that it's a period of intense, focused and discipline in your work life and your whole kind of physical, spiritual, mental well-being life, interspersed with periods of relaxation before we go back into that intense, focused and deep work again. In a way, it's kind of like if you were to do an interval session. It's a sprint, a recovery, sprint, recovery, and you do this to ultimately get stronger. All sounded great, but would it really work? Well, I decided the only way to find out is to try it. The first thing was to decide what my Monk Mode protocols were going to be. So if I look at what Iman suggests, there are 5 and 3 are non-negotiable. The first is meditation, at least 10 minutes per day. Honestly, meditation is something that prior to Monk Mode I'd never done properly before. Anybody who knows me knows I have a very busy mind. I'm constantly thinking, constantly trying to create stuff, thinking of new ideas, new opportunities, and my brain never sits still. So this one I knew was going to be really tough. Stay tuned for the video to see how I get on, but spoiler alert, this one really changed my life. For me, protocol 1, meditation at least 15 minutes per day. Number 2, exercise, minimum of 30 minutes per day. Now, what you have to be really strict on is, it is not an average of 30 minutes per day. For example, I couldn't go and do 90 minutes on Monday, nothing Tuesday, Wednesday, and come again on Thursday. It has to be a minimum of 30 minutes every single day without fail. Now, for those of you sitting at home going, overtraining, that's actually really bad for you, he's thought of that. Even a brisk walk counts as exercise. It's anything that gets your heart rate elevated for 30 minutes. Not that, take your mind out of the gutter. Number 3, no alcohol or drugs. Well, I'm 27 and I've never done drugs in any of the previous 27 years of my life, so I don't intend to start now, so that bit was going to be very easy. But alcohol. So I'm not really a big drinker anyway, to be honest. I'll have a drink on a Friday or a Saturday night, maybe a Sunday if there's a bit of the wine to finish off, but I wouldn't say I'm a regular or a heavy drinker. So I was pretty confident on this one. Now, these are your 3 non-negotiables. Any Monk Mode you do must have these 3 as a minimum. The suggestion is then to add 2 what we call variable protocols, which are there based on kind of where your life is at the moment and where you need a bit of a kick, basically. Iman suggests some options here, and I'll talk you through them. First is no caffeine. This one he absolutely lives by through every one of his Monk Modes. I just love a cup of tea, and I'm not going to do that. So that one is out. Second one, stick to a diet. Now, he does keto. I personally don't feel the need to do keto or a named diet like paleo, vegan, whatever. But I did decide to eat clean for Monk Mode. So clean to me means minimizing the number of steps between the product's origin and it being on my plate. So any processed or ultra processed, high processed food is out. So we have to be a bit pragmatic about this because almost all of the food we eat these days is processed in some way. right? Even the spinach that you take out of the bag, it's processed in the sense that it's been washed and bagged up, and there's like nitrogen in the bag to keep it fresh. So we have to be a little bit pragmatic, right? I live in London. I can't grow my own food right now. Okay, I have a flat with a tiny balcony. It is impossible for me to grow all of my own food. Then there's a few more things he suggests. Praying once a day, doing a certain amount of outreach. If you don't know Iman Gadzhi, he is a SMMA agency owner. Outreach doesn't really apply to me. Screen time of less than a certain amount per day. This one I did pick. Deleting Instagram off your phone and computer. Okay, so the two protocols I picked were sticking to the diet, as I just said, and the second was a screen time of less than 60 minutes per day. Now, I have a desk-based job. I can't say I'm only going to work for an hour a day. That's ridiculous. But what I mean here is like personal screen time. So things like mindless scrolling on Instagram, it's really easy when you are maybe on a call or you're doing something and you maybe get stuck and you just mindlessly pick up your phone and you just scroll through and you barely even know you're doing it. Also includes obviously things like watching TV, social media. I included FaceTime with talking to my partner as part of this. So really like any personal screen time, maximum of 60 minutes per day. So these were my protocols for the next 21 days. Meditation of 15 minutes per day. Exercise 30 minutes minimum per day. No alcohol. Sticking to my clean diet and a maximum screen time of 60 minutes per day. So those were the rules. 21 days. How did we get on? It's day 2 of monk mode and I'm out for my 30 minutes of exercise. I've chosen to do a long walk back from the station, got off a couple of stops early and I've come for a beautiful walk through Osterley Park. I'm doing a walk today for the exercise because I have some problems with my knees, so I try not to run every day, and in 30 minutes of cycling in London you won't get very far. I've come across monk mode at just the right time. I'm in a challenging place with my fintech startup Networther. The product isn't quite as technically feasible as I wanted it to be, which means we can't create the product I wanted. It's a little bit challenging to try and do everything, and what I'm hoping is that monk mode will be the thing to help keep me on the right side of burnout. Let's give it a try. Monk mode day 4. Few things I'm learning. Firstly, 30 minutes of exercise a day is very achievable, even if it is just a walk. What used to happen is I would run for a few days, then I would take a rest day, and then one day would go by, 2 days, 3 days, a week would go by, and I'd struggle to put myself back onto the bandwagon. By keeping the habit of doing something, even if it's not like onerous exercise, it's just keeping your head in the right space. And honestly, I'm feeling better physically and mentally for it. Speaking of physically, because I'm eating a bit less processed food, even though I never really ate much fully processed food in the first place, like I haven't eaten a ready meal since I've been a student, I still feel a lot better for it, because for me the big problem was pastries. I just love that fresh pastry, fresh from a local independent baker. Oh, nothing compares. But I was having at least one a day, and that's really bad for you, so I'm feeling much better for cutting that out. But the one thing I am struggling with is the meditation. So I have a very busy mind. You know, as soon as it goes quiet, I start thinking, oh, that's an interesting business idea. Oh, I could do this with Networther. Oh, I could make this type of video for the channel. And honestly, just getting my mind to be quiet for even 5 minutes is really hard. So at the moment, I'm using a guided meditation through Brain FM, and every time I find myself wandering from it, just recenter, come back to the voice, and listen again. I'm not really finding it getting any easier, if I'm honest, but I am more conscious every time my mind wanders, so I feel like that's the first step. But I'm determined to stick with it, because I keep hearing all these great things about meditation, and I haven't really given it a proper chance, so this is an opportunity to really give it a go, and I hope it does something for me at least. Let's see.
It's Monk Mode Day 7. Sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. And today I am massively the nail. I have got a dreadful migraine. I'm not giving up on Monk Mode though, because Monk Mode's not caused it. And maybe it'll be easier to follow, because I don't want to eat anything anyway. Oh God.
It's now early evening and I feel a lot better than I did this morning, but still not quite right. So that's why I'm doing a walk today for my 30 minutes of exercise rather than a run. I think my body's not there yet. It's very windy, hence the hair, nothing I can do about that. And I'm grateful to Monk Mode for pushing me out the door to do this, because if I wasn't doing Monk Mode, I'd probably just sit under the covers all day and tell myself that my poorliness is a reason not to do it, when actually there are loads of health benefits associated with getting fresh air and that when you've got a migraine. Monk Mode Day 11, and I love Monk Mode. It has taken me 8.5 hours, but I have finished the first working prototype of the Networther app, and it feels amazing. This has been sitting on my to-do list for longer than I care to admit. So to have it actually done, it just feels the best. I've been listening to 8.5 hours of Brain FM, and it's really helped me to just get in the zone, blast through it. And whereas normally I would do a screen, walk away, make a cup of tea, take an hour's break, there's something just in the zone. Maybe it is Brain FM, maybe it's something else, but I just got in the zone and just got it done, and this is what deep work is. I am really proud of myself. We're now just 1 week away from the end of Monk Mode, and the time has absolutely flown by. I've been sticking to it religiously, pun absolutely intended, and I'm loving it. The last week since I've had my migraine has actually been quite difficult. I'm struggling to recover from the fatigue off the back of the migraine. So for the first part of Monk Mode, I was getting up at 5:20 every day, at my desk by 6 o'clock, solid 2.5 hours of really deep work before I log into my day job, and then when I'd finished up from my day job, I would do another hour, 2 hours on the businesses before I went to bed. Hour before bed, I was reading, my screen time was really low, and I was just achieving everything and more. And then when the migraine hit me, I've kind of struggled a little bit, particularly in the morning. So nowhere in Monk Mode, and nowhere does Iman say you have to get up at the same time every day as part of Monk Mode, so I haven't broken a protocol, but I was in a habit that I was finding beneficial as a side effect of Monk Mode that seems to be a bit of a challenge at the moment. So I think next time I do Monk Mode, I'm going to add a protocol around the getting up at exactly the same time every day, and I think 6:30 is quite a good middle ground, because at the moment I'm just really struggling to get up, and I start work at 8:30 and I'm getting up at like 8:25, which is very unusual for me, and I don't really like starting the day this way. But the time between my alarm going off and me turning it off and going back to sleep is so small, I barely remember turning my alarm off. So I genuinely am trying. I'm setting the alarm every day, but it's just not happening at the moment. But that hasn't broken a Monk Mode protocol. It's just I'm getting very frustrated by myself and my body because of that. But I'm still eating really clean. I haven't drunk any alcohol. My screen time is getting lower, and I'm getting good at not getting distracted whilst I'm working. So I'm doing the deep work. I'm still using Brain FM. Absolutely love it. I'm preaching it to everybody that will listen, and even those that won't. So yeah, overall, Monk Mode's been a really, really positive experience. We are just 2 days away from the end of Monk Mode, and I'm looking forward to the end because there's a few things I've missed. I'm looking forward to treating myself to in the break, but I'm also looking forward to starting Monk Mode again, and I am absolutely going to have probably a 10-day break, and then I'm going to go into another 21 days. Might even do 30 this time. Ironically, the thing I struggled with most at the beginning, which was meditation, I'm now enjoying the most. In fact, I've enjoyed it so much that I've actually done 30 minutes for the past 2 days rather than just 15, because I've been able to get into that really relaxed, zoned out, present headspace, which ironically is a similar type of headspace that you enter when you enter focused work as well. It's the penultimate day of monk mode and a great time to reflect on the experience over the last 21 days. There are 3 key things I've learned, and these are around productivity, mental well-being and health. See, at the beginning I took monk mode to really just mean about boosting your productivity, and it does that to a great extent, but it's not just about that. It's about doing it in a way that is healthy, sustainable, and is good for both the mind and the body all at the same time. It's a holistic experience. Monk mode is different to just starting a diet or starting meditation or saying I'm going to be more productive. It's about putting in a system in place to help you succeed in a way that's good for you. This is why I quite like the idea of the 5 protocols, and every time you do monk mode you can kind of change these. Monk mode came at quite a good time for me because I was in a tough place when I started this with NetWeather, and I was also just starting my second business, Consulting Spark. So I was at a time when I needed to boost my productivity, and monk mode just felt like a good thing to try. My productivity has increased 3-fold. What I have now become very good at is going into that deep work state and setting up the infrastructure around me to enable myself to go into deep work much quicker than I previously could. And I'm finding that I'm not getting distracted so easily, and I'm not getting so tempted even when the distraction is there. For example, at the beginning of monk mode I would physically remove my phone from anywhere near me and put it in plane mode because I was getting pretty tempted. But actually what I found is as I've gone into the habit of deep work and I'm going into the enjoyment of it, my phone can be near me and I'm not tempted. I just have it face down and I'm not tempted to pick it up. And I think this is also related to the mental well-being. So meditation is one of the non-negotiable protocols of monk mode. Now at the beginning this was a real struggle. Sitting still was pretty hard. Every time I sat still, all I kept thinking was I feel itchy. And the temptation to open my eyes was really strong, and I really struggled to concentrate and my mind wandered really often. And I had to very consciously notice when it was wandering and rein it back. But what I've actually noticed is that by getting into daily meditation, I'm actually able to be more productive when I'm working as well. Because actually there's a similarity between meditation and deep work, and you zone out from the world around you. So firstly, meditation became easier. I would say it took me 15 days of 15 minutes every day before I have really started to be able to actually enter that almost out of body relaxation. How will I be celebrating the break? Well, I will be taking a break from monk mode for the next 10 days, and then I'm going to enter another 21-day cycle. This is going to be stricter. Then I will take a 2-week break, and then I will enter a 3rd cycle, this time of 30 days, and again of the stricter version. How will I be celebrating the end of monk mode? Well, is it a celebration? I don't know. I have bought a big sticky toffee pudding that I'm going to enjoy piping hot with nice, fresh, cold custard. I'm going to get loads of comments now about how I shouldn't be having cold and hot puddings. And although I haven't actually missed alcohol over the last 21 days, I do feel like having a nice, cold, crisp glass of Sauvignon Blanc. And because I haven't had it for a while, I've bought the good stuff. And to be honest, I feel zero guilt. We've achieved monk mode and we're going to do it again. And by breaking it into these cycles of discipline and relaxation, it feels like a really sustainable way to live. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you give monk mode a go. If you do, let me know how your experience is down in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and of course subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.